Welcome to the Fan2Fan Podcast 5-Minute Frights, wherein, give or take 5 minutes, we'll try to share something creepy, kooky, mysterious, spooky, something fun and frightful that you can add to your to-watch queue as we all get ready for Halloween season. My name is Bernie Gonzalez, and on this episode, we're going to be talking to returning guest Michele Brittany about one of her favorite horror films, the 2016 horror indie flick, The Void. A little bit about Michele. She's a writer, editor, photographer, pop scholar, and she's also the co-host of the HP Lovecraft podcast. And you can visit Michele Brittany, 1 L in Michele, 2 T's in Brittany.com to check out Michele's blog and her latest work. We also have returning guest Joshua Pruett, who's done quite a number of different episodes from John Carpenter to Mystery Science Theater. And folks can find him online at Zombie TARDIS. All right, let's get into The Void, a movie that seems to have a lot of connected tissue with Lucio Fulci's The Beyond to John Carpenter and Assault on Precinct 13. There's a lot of things here. I'd not seen it until you put it on your list, and then that just was the excuse to watch it for the first time. The Void.
Everything has led to this. You will become something remarkable.
They did killings and sacrifices. It made people change.
Nothing else matters now.
It's not real. It's not real. It's not real.
This isn't the end.
Yes. Have you seen it, Josh?
Oh, yeah. It's a trip. This filmmaking group, I really like their stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
How'd you find this movie, Michele? Because, again, it hasn't been out for very long, but watching this movie, Josh, like you said, these guys may be starting to make a name for themselves, very
Definitely.
quickly.
Well, it's indie theater. Nick happened to see it listed and he saw the trailer. So I took a look at the trailer and we're like, well, let's go watch that. So we actually got to see it in the cinema. Man, what an atmospheric movie. The fact that they used practical effects rather than trying to do CGI, another labor of love, an indie film, limited number of characters, keeping to that, Max Gladwell's The Tipping Point, not going over about 7 characters. You've got excellent actor choices, especially Aaron Poole. The fact that you're using an isolated location, a hospital that is being decommissioned, just ripe for opportunities with lots of sharp things, maze of rooms and locations within the hospital. And of course, it just happens to have, an underground basement. I just thought it was well executed. It had a lot of Lovecraftian influences. I felt it was timeless. I felt it was fresh. And I thought it was one of the best Lovecraftian inspired tales that's out there today.
It almost might be a disservice that when I think of this movie, I almost start layering on the influences that felt very much apparent. You mentioned one location, immediately I think Rio Bravo, which makes me think of Assault on Precinct 13, the idea of the siege, and then the Lovecraftian elements, the basement, the main villain, and there's certainly some nods aesthetically to Hellraiser. And, and some of that. But I think that's the interesting thing with, let's say, more contemporary, younger filmmakers, is that they also grew up with these movies that we love. And of course, it would make sense that these movies would find their way into their perspective, into their filmmaking. I think that's probably, and you've mentioned it before, Josh, that's the magic trick, right? That's the secret sauce, is that they're able to put these things together, but they are the connective tissue. How they view it, their perspective, that's what makes it unique.
Yeah, it's a love letter to the things that they grew up with, but it's their own thing.
Absolutely.
Oh, I was just going to say, it's really amazing what they do with all the practical effects, and the fact that it's kind of a lost art. And
for sure.
And I had to put this on my list, and it does have to come at number 2 because, I think it's important to know the roots and know that practical effects still have their place. Separately, I would say that having absolutely kick-ass poster doesn't hurt either.
Oh my God.
The poster for this film is absolutely fantastic.
Yep.
The fact that we have a lot of that synth wave and vapor wave kind of influence coming back, and you really get those neon colors and tentacles coming out of the triangle. I mean, absolutely perfect.
And in fairness to the filmmakers, when they were kickstarting this, I mean, they were very upfront about the Carpenter-ness of it and where they wanted this thing to sit, musically and aesthetically. That is very much the vibe that they were going for. And I think they super pulled it off. It is a creepy movie.
Yes.
Super unsettling movie.